Alright, what's up guys? Tactical here. Today, I'm gonna do my video on Stipe. I'm tired of the Stipe slander. Some of it is warranted, some of it is credible. And I want to say this before anything else. Does Tom Aspinall deserve the title shot over Stipe Miocic? Yes. But this is a fight we are getting in a few weeks here. So we can either bitch about it or we can either talk about it, be hyped, and hope the fight is good. And don't forget, this was a fight that we wanted for years. You know, uh, near the end of Jon Jones' light heavyweight run, that was being teased a lot. When Jon Jones was fighting the likes of Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, Anthony Smith. We all know he had a lot of close fights. Personally, I believe he was just not interested in MMA. I find that tends to be his downfall in fights. Like, when you look at the first Gustafsson fight, and you look at the fact that he has openly admitted multiple times that he did not take that fight seriously. Yes, he trained for it, but he was getting drunk, doing all the other Jon Jones things, and he wasn't fully prepared for that fight. But Jon Jones looks like he's fully prepared at heavyweight. Like, that still gone performance, I think we all completely forget about it because of the fact that Jon Jones got injured, and it's not his fault, and it's not Stipe's fault. But what he did was to Cyril Gahn was nothing short of impressive. But this isn't a video about Jon Jones. This is about the Stipe, right? And during the time Jon Jones was having issues at light heavyweight, that was when Stipe was shining at heavyweight. But I want to go back to the late 2000s, right? When I started watching. And this is something too. I'm genuinely curious. When did you guys start watching MMA? Like, what era? We have the ESPN era right now. We have the Conor Ronda era. We had the Lesnar era near the right after the tough room. Then we have the tough room. And then I'd say, if you were watching before this, you were buying VHS, so you are a dedicated fan. Me, myself, I started watching during the Lesnar era, around the time when The Ultimate Fighter was getting kicked off. I remember watching it with my dad on Spike back when, cable TV was a thing. But, what made me a fan of not only UFC, but the sport as a whole, was honestly Brock Lesnar. And he was a big star at that time. Conor McGregor was a big star that brought in majority of the new fans here. But I knew about Brock Lesnar, the fighter, before I knew about Brock Lesnar, the wrestler. I had no idea he started off in 2002 in the WWE. I just remember he fought Frank Mir for the first time. And I remember seeing this giant ripped dude that is above 265 running in there and just taking people down, smashing them. Like, I really wish Brock Lesnar had a striking coach. He knocked out Couture too. But like, when I watched that fight and I watched other fights around that time, Rampage versus Lyoto Machida comes to mind. That was another fight I remember watching. You know, these guys who became stars knew how to work the mic, and they had a style that was ahead of its time, right? And I find it funny. WWE fans have no fucking clue how good Brock Lesnar is on the mic. Like, those Frank Mir promos were fucking unbelievable. They were funny as shit. Um, they gained tons of traction. And it was kind of to the fault of the UFC that Brock Lesnar was one of the biggest stars at that time. And then you have, obviously, Anderson Silva and GSP, who went on historical reigns and were dominating people. Like, GSP basically, like, GSP did what Usman did, essentially, most of his career, where it was a heavy wrestling style. His karate background was something that a lot of fighters couldn't handle with. And, you know, GSP famously never talked shit up that much. He had a lot of funny ones, you know, most infamously the one where he walked into the cage and told Matt Hughes he wasn't impressed with his performance. But, you know, you have Silva, you had GSP, you have Jon Jones, you have all these guys. And after that, you know, because of my father primarily, I stuck around. And there was only like a few years ago, I'd say around the time when DC versus Stipe we're going back and forth. That was really when I turned into like a hardcore fan. I've been a fan of this sport since I can remember. But the fact that those Stipe fights were the ones that truly did it for me and turned me from a casual fan to a hardcore fan was Stipe was different. Daniel Cormier was different too. But when you look at heavyweight, you look at the history of heavyweight. Stipe Miocic is one of the most well-rounded heavyweights I've ever seen. And above that, the way he mixes wrestling and boxing, like the way he dominated Francis in the first fight, was incredible. And Jon Jones has always struggled with guys that are similar height or around, or you know, taller than him. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. That's what gives him trouble. Gustafson, right? Lengthy guy, good boxing, decent wrestling knowledge. Like, Stipe Miocic versus Jon Jones is a fight that I've wanted to see ever since really Stipe Francis won. And maybe it's because I'm big fans of both of these guys. But like, to me, I feel like not only people are overlooking and trashing the fight, but they are heavily discrediting Stipe. Like I said, Stipe has the fight style that gives Jon Jones struggles. And people are like, okay, well, he got knocked out. One, he got knocked out by Francis. Two, he's taken these few years time off to get healthier, uh, heal his brain from the knockout. But also, he's bulked up to like 250 from what I've heard. Like, the Stipe Miocic that we are gonna see, like Stipe, I think he weighed into that the second Francis fight, at something like 228 pounds, 229 pounds, if I remember correctly. But from what I heard, like he was at 240 the last time I heard. And another thing too is that Stipe isn't a fighter that is just sitting on the couch. The dude is a fighter. And in order to be a firefighter, you need to keep your body in tremendous shape to pass the physical test, but also to obviously handle fires and shit. But like, I don't know. Don't forget too, the big thing about he's 42. He's 42. He's a 40-year-old man. Daniel Cormier was 42 and knocked out Stipe Miocic. Nobody's talking about the age of DC when he moved out. Nobody brought up that factor when he fought Derek Lewis, which, looking back, I did give Derek Lewis a shot. More than I should have. But that fight went exactly how we expected. Now, what I'm trying to present to you is that from my perspective, from a fan of the sport for years, who has watched so many fights live, I've gone back, I've gone to Fight Pass, as I'm sure you guys have. I've watched, I don't even know how many hours of fights in my lifetime, along with the other, hobbies that I have that I waste time in. Like, Stipe Miocic was different than somebody like an Overeem, who he beat. Somebody like a JDS, who he beat. He was different from Cain Velasquez, who we all know Cain Velasquez, that altitude, whatever happened during the Werdum camp, everything went south for him. And then you have the recent stuff, which I'm glad that is all working out for him. Hopefully he can hopefully he's with his family. I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, that whole thing was stupid. But the point I'm trying to make is Stipe is the greatest heavyweight of all time for a reason. Nobody I'm seeing in the comments of these posts and that are giving like a breakdown of why they think it's a bad fight beyond the age of 42. Randy Couture came back and beat Tim Sylvia at 45. And then he got knocked out by Brock Lesnar, but it's Brock Lesnar, who was probably juiced to the gills and walked into that cage at like 300 pounds. The only people that have given Stipe trouble is Daniel Cormier, probably third best heavyweight of all time, UFC Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time, period. Like he was able to break Daniel Cormier. Jon Jones knocked out Daniel Cormier in that second fight that got overturned. Stipe Miocic broke Daniel Cormier for 2 fights. He knocked him out with body shots in the second, but the third one, he broke DC, essentially. He was able to put up a pace, use his boxing, use his wrestling, and beat one of the greatest of all time. And when you match him up against Jon Jones, right, and this is why I've wanted this fight for so long, is the height, the boxing, and Stipe's wrestling. He out-wrestled Francis Ngannou. Well, at the time, Francis Ngannou didn't have the wrestling ability that he showed off in the Silicon fight, or most recently the Renan Ferreira fight, but he dominated Francis Ngannou. That's a win that aged perfectly. And, the loss against him, I I would say, I was gonna say that aged bad, but like, Francis went on to debatably beat Tyson Fury and get knocked out by Joshua and then come back and dominate Renan Ferreira. Like, there's a reason Stipe Miocic is the greatest of all time. There's a reason Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. You can say what you want about steroids and Jon Jones as a character. But I'm telling you, this is a fight we need. It's a fight I wanted for years, so I'm already biased towards it. But it is a legit possibility. We say Stipe Miocic end his career with 2 wins over Cormier and a win over Jon Jones. That would be one of the best resumes ever. And let's say Stipe stays around, beats Aspinall, and fights Pereira like I think Jon Jones will do if he wins. I mean, those are hard fights, especially in your 40s. But if he's able to do that, I really think Stipe Miocic is up there in the conversation for GOAT. He's already the heavyweight GOAT. Unless Jon Jones sticks around, defends it a few times, or up until Tom Aspinall gets the belt. That's the other thing. I don't know. I just wanted to make this video because I kind of think the MMA community is, one, overblowing this fight. 2, like, you complain too much. The fight is in a few weeks. They're gonna get it. And 3, there's a reason Stipe Miocic is looked at and was looked at as a genuine threat to Jon Jones. There is a reason that Jon Jones didn't just jump up to heavyweight like Israel Adesanya did to light heavyweight. I don't know. But, that's just kind of all I got for this. I'll probably make more videos on this. Definitely my predictions will be coming out really soon for that fight card, since I'm pretty sure that one is in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below. I'm genuinely serious. I want to know what era you guys started watching UFC in. Other than that, let me know in the comments down below. Am I on to something? Am I wrong? Whatever. Thanks for watching. Bye.